it. Ow, the light was just lit. Now I have to rebuild the entire filter stack. If I don't post this, everyone will think I'm just sitting here in the dark.
Hoodie, you're trying to sell a reality you're not even experiencing because you're too busy designing the brochure for it. Have you ever wondered why the truly interesting people out there simply post nothing at all?
Because they're boring or ugly?
On the contrary, they possess rare psychological traits that would make you turn pale with envy. Sit down, eat your cold pizza, and learn why digital invisibility is the ultimate flex. While you're currently trying to drape your lunch so it looks like success, some people possess something you've long lost: total control. We are conditioned to label digital ghosts, the people who never post, as boring, shy, or technologically stuck. But the truth is much more amazing. They aren't victims of the algorithm, they are its final boss. While the masses hack their lives into pieces for a few milligrams of dopamine in the form of likes, these people operate from a position of absolute psychological strength. It will blow your mind, Hoodie, why consistently refusing the camera isn't a retreat, but a sign of emotional superiority. Let's take a closer look at what invisible flex these people master that your ego can only dream of. The transaction of experience: why sharing actually means losing. Have you ever wondered what happens to a moment when you photograph it? This is where the so-called photo-taking impairment effect kicks in. Studies show people who photograph an experience remember its details worse later on. Your brain offloads the memory to the smartphone. You store the image digitally, but you delete the experience from your neural memory. People who never post photos often have an intuitive understanding of psychological ownership. They know a moment belongs to you only as long as you don't share it. As soon as you upload a photo, the moment becomes public property. It gets judged, commented on, and pigeonholed by strangers. The people with the rare traits choose the exclusivity advantage. They keep their memories for themselves, untouched by the opinions of others. They experience life in 4K, in their head, not on a display. But it's not just about memories. It's about a chemical addiction that has almost every one of us in its grip, except those who post nothing. The dopamine hack: internal versus external locus of control. Why is the urge to post so strong? It's the dopamine loop. Every interaction, a like, a heart, a wow, fires up your reward system. We are conditioned to mirror our worth through the eyes of others. Psychologists call this an external locus of control. This means you make your happiness dependent on factors you cannot control: the algorithm and the mood of your followers. People who never post photos often possess a strong but rare trait: internal locus of control. Their self-esteem is independent of external opinions or ratings. They don't need digital applause to know they are valuable. When they climb a mountain, the victory is complete for them, even if no one hears about it. They have hacked the system by pulling the reward from the action itself, not from the reaction to it. They are the captains of their own emotions. This emotional independence is almost extinct in our society. Does that sound like a problem for people who still use landlines to you? But hold on to your cold pizza, Hoodie. A brilliant physicist named Werner Heisenberg discovered something nearly 100 years ago that exposes your entire digital world as a lie. The Heisenberg effect of observation: the destruction of authenticity. Long before the first selfie light was invented, he proved in his uncertainty principle that it is physically impossible to observe something without completely changing it in the process. What he found out back then about atoms is today's death sentence for your real world. Because what happens when you turn on the camera? The moment you observe yourself, you destroy what you actually wanted to capture. This makes your photos the corpses of your most beautiful moments. In quantum physics, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle states that the act of observation alone changes the observed particle. In psychology, it's exactly the same. As soon as you know a moment will be posted, you stop living it and start staging it. We call this identity crafting. You are no longer yourself. You are the director of your own advertising campaign. You choose the angle, you suck in your stomach, you put on the social media smile. People who refrain from posting refuse this performance. They preserve their authenticity. They allow themselves to be ugly, sad, euphoric, or just there, without the ulterior thought, how does this look for the cloud? Those who never post live a life without director's instructions. This is a form of freedom that Hoody and his selfie generation no longer even know. But now comes the part that will pull the rug out from under you, Hoody. If observing destroys the moment, then why do you feel this massive, almost physical pressure to constantly deliver perfectly? Who is actually staring at you? The answer, it's a phantom that makes you a slave in your own head. Ready for a radical liberation from probably the biggest and most painful illusion of the social media era? The spotlight effect. Why do you feel like the lead actor in a blockbuster for which, in truth, no one has bought a ticket? A large part of our digital stress comes from the spotlight effect. We falsely believe that the world is constantly watching us and analyzing every detail of our lives. We post to feed this supposed spotlight with idealized images. People who never post photos have mostly overcome the spotlight effect. They have recognized the liberating truth. No one is as interested in you as you think. That sounds harsh, but it means ultimate relief. Those who understand this don't have to prove anything anymore. They enjoy anonymity. They understand that true power lies in invisibility. While everyone else is trying to play the lead role in a movie no one sees, these people sit relaxed in the audience of their own lives. But don't get me wrong, Hoody. Just because they're in the audience doesn't mean they have no power. Quite the opposite. They have understood that total invisibility isn't a retreat, it's the ultimate status magnet. People who post nothing create a charisma. Want to know how to become the most valuable mystery in the room while everyone else has already sold themselves short? Then welcome to the world of the psychology of the enigma. Power through secrets. In evolution, information was always power. Those who reveal everything about themselves are predictable. Those who keep themselves covered remain an enigma, a mystery. In modern psychology, we know that people who reveal less of themselves are often perceived as more competent, confident, and attractive. Why? Because we project our own ideals into their silence. This rare trait is called high privacy intelligence. These people understand that attention is a limited resource. If you share everything, you dilute your presence. If you share almost nothing, the little that is seen of you carries massive weight. They use their non-presence as a strategic tool. They aren't shy, they are selective. They know that you can't really delete anything on the internet, and they treat their digital footprint like a valuable relic, not like a trash dump. But honestly, Hoody, don't you have this gnawing, ugly fear that the world will just keep turning without you if you don't upload a proof photo? That you will simply be forgotten? I'll tell you the ultimate cheat code now. You can turn FOMO, the fear of missing out, into a protective shield. Want to know how to use the joy of missing out to short-circuit the algorithm of dissatisfaction once and for all? JOMO instead of FOMO. Escaping social comparison. The constant consumption of others' photos inevitably leads to upward comparison. We compare our behind the scenes, our unvarnished everyday life, with the highlight reel of others. The result? Depression, envy, and inferiority complexes. People who post nothing often opt out of this competition entirely. They cultivate JOMO, the joy of missing out. They aren't afraid of missing out because they know that the most important thing is happening exactly where they are right now. This rare trait of presence is the ultimate shield against mental illnesses of the modern age. They don't compare their lives with a pixel ideal. but with their own progress from yesterday. But don't believe for a second that this is just about good vibes and inner peace. People who don't post aren't just protecting their mood, they're protecting their entire future self from access you can't even imagine yet. There is an almost scary reason why the invisible ones have already won the game while you're still looking for the perfect filter. While you're presenting your life on social media in bite-sized portions, you're feeding an intelligence in the background that never sleeps, and that will soon know you better than you know yourself. Ready to find out who you're really working for when you hit upload? Digital sovereignty and the danger of data profiling. Every photo you post feeds an AI. Your preferences, your location, your friends, your aging process, everything is biometrically recorded. People who never post photos often practice a form of digital sovereignty. They understand the concept of data autonomy. They are aware that their identity is their most valuable asset, and they refuse to give it away to tech giants for free. This rare trait is a mixture of high intelligence and long-term thinking. They play the long game. While others sacrifice their privacy for a short dopamine snack, these individuals preserve their digital freedom for a future where anonymity might be the greatest luxury of all. Did I shock you now, Hoodie? Is it the fear of AI or the realization that you've been selling your most valuable asset for a few worthless clicks? These invisible rebels out there are not simply cautious or old-fashioned. They possess very special traits that act like armor. This protective shell is important because the digital world would love to scan you completely. Want to know if you or someone in your contact list really belongs to this psychological elite? Then pay very close attention now. Here is a summary of the personality building blocks of those who have already won the game of digital invisibility, while you're still trying to understand the rules. Conclusion of the rare traits. So if you meet someone who never posts photos, look closer. You're likely meeting someone with high emotional independence, a deep sense of authenticity, superior self-restraint, a strong internal focus. These people are the silent rebels of our time. They prove that you can exist without being a product. They show us that the depth of a life is not measured by the number of likes, but by the quality of unshared moments. They aren't behind the times, they are far ahead of them. True strength means being able to see the most beautiful sunset of your life and feeling no urge to pull your phone out of your pocket. In that moment, the sun belongs only to you, and that is a wealth that no algorithm in the world can ever capture.
You know what, Owl? I think I'll just delete the photo. The pizza was too good for the internet anyway.
Welcome to reality, Hoodie. It doesn't have a glow filter, but it's damn real.
And you? Are you Team Permapost or Team Invisible? Write it in the comments. I read them all, even if I don't take a photo of it.